Hello Australia, welcome to another big episode of The Couch, thanks to Scoot Airlines who bring it to us every week. Flyscoot.com, great deals all around the world. Please check it out on the website. Today we've got a big show for you to check out as well. Philip Wally Stack is right here, and so is Angelo. They're going to perform for us, and then later we'll talk to them about a brand new show called Walk With Me, which is coming up in July. Stay tuned for that one. We'll give you another chance of winning 2 tickets to the Men in Black Ball, thanks to Momentum. You can come with me and enjoy a fantastic meal and a lot of fun coming up very soon. Later on, Steve Collins takes us travelling with his radio roaming segment, and we also takes us to the Festival Fromage. Big show, stick around. We're going to tell you how you can win those 2 tickets to Singapore, much more. It's episode 557. Thanks to Scoot. It starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. It's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can see it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch.
Oh, wonderful. Scoot. Don't forget 2 airline tickets to win, so don't go away. Opening the show now, these wonderful, talented people. They are from Western Australia. We're really proud to have them on the show today. Angelo and, of course, Philip Wally Stack. Great new show. The song today is called Walk With Me, and please make them welcome as they perform it as our opening song.
Just to walk in the street, I've got my head held high. Yeah, I can see them all laughing. They got the fear in their eye. 'Cause you know what, change has to come. Up on this hill we all climb. 'Cause 200 years is such a long time. And here I am. Here I am, I'm just a man of
That is Philip Wally-Stack, a fantastic Indigenous performer. We'll have him back later on to tell us about his brand new one-man show coming up at the Astor Theatre here in Perth. So stay tuned for that. But first, let me tell you about another thriller that's coming up. It is an Australian thriller. It's a political thriller. It's on Showtime, or Showcase, should I say, on Foxtel. It is an amazing show. It's Australian, and one of the cast of many international and Australian cast members is Marcus Graham. Welcome to the couch.
Thanks, Alfredo.
Nice to have. Oh, thank you very much. I've got an international name.
Alfredo.
Very international, don't you think?
I do think so.
It goes well with your international and national cast that's on this wonderful show.
It's a good link.
It's called Secret Cities.
Secret City, yeah, an amazing cast, in fact.
You are an amazing actor. Tell us first about
thanks.
yourself, because a lot of people don't know. You're an AFI award-winning actor. Tell me what the AFI is all about for those people who don't know. How did you get that?
Well, the AFI is Australian Film Institute Award, and there's also an Actor Award, which is part of the AFI. It's just our it's not the Logies, it's the AFIs. It's one or the other, in Australia.
It's pretty good, but
It's pretty good, and I just did a guest spot on Blue Healers, and I got an AFI. So I don't know.
and that's not your first appearance, because you've done Home and Away.
Oh, lots of stuff.
City Homicide, I believe. You've done a lot of TVC. Now, I saw you last night at the screening of our exclusive preview of Secret Cities,
Yeah.
and I said to you about E Street, and you said E Street in the 80s.
In the
How
80s.
important was Wheels, the character you played, in the 80s on E Street for you, for the making of Marcus Graham? Did it open doors?
It was the first commercial thing I'd done. I studied at WAPA, and then when I finished, I went to Sydney, and I think about a year and a half, 2 years after I'd gotten to Sydney, I got E Street, and it was actually just a guest spot. I did just 2 episodes as a guestie, and at that time there was only like 4 channels on television, and Brian Walsh, who now works for Foxtel, was working for Channel 10, and he rang me and he said, "Look, we've had all these people calling the station going, 'Who's this guy? We want to get you back on the show.'" And so it was a break, it was a real break for me, and so I signed up and I went on to the show for 3 months or something. And
So it would either have been E Street or you would have made it in Prisoner. So I think you did pretty well going at E Street. But since then, you've moved on to a lot of television, but you've also starred in a couple of movies as well, more than a couple. Tell us about those.
The most interesting thing I've done on film, I think, is probably Mulholland Drive, which is a David Lynch film. And it won the Palme d'Or, in fact. It was originally a pilot for a television show that we made in America. And in America, they said, no, it's too weird, like David Lynch. We were surprised because it's no secret that David Lynch is kind of a little crazy, a little kooky. Yeah. So they spent $8 million on a pilot and then went, it's too weird. So David bought the pilot back from the network and finished the film, and then won the Palme d'Or, which is sort of an amazing thing.
Do you have, when you look back at your career so far, is there a favourite? I mean, I know E Street would have been your first start, but what's your favourite television that you've done?
The most recent would be Jack Irish, which is an ABC show with Guy Pearce. And I played a preacher, like a charismatic.
Oh, that would be
kind
right up your...
Yeah, I really loved it. It was fantastic to do that because it was very theatrical. I've done a lot of theatre.
Or Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, The Blue Room, lots and lots of stuff. And so to do to play a preacher was very theatrical. I had to do the sermon. It went for 4 minutes. It was like this full-on thing, but it was like putting theatre with television together. Like for me to do theatre but have it filmed was such an extraordinary
What was the
experience.
research for you to become a preacher?
Well, I did get into Hillsong a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of their stuff is on YouTube, so you can do Hillsong. And I also had a look at that documentary, Getting Clear, on Scientology, Tom Cruise, and all that stuff. I found that very, very interesting. So that was my research. But then there's nothing like just doing it. And on the day when we were shooting, we had about 100 extras in this theatre, and I had a follow spot and a band and a Bible, And with the extras, I said to them, look, if you want to respond to me and say, hey, amen, hallelujah, or whatever, I'll respond to you and we can actually do this for real in the room. And they really went for it. And it was so exciting. And after a few hours, we were all getting really kind of high.
You're into it.
Because you're just kind of sharing this excitement and building it up together. It was like, I don't know what any of it means, but it just feels amazing, So that was a truly great experience.
A lot of people also don't realise you've had a family association with theatre and entertainment. Your mother was a ballerina. Your father was in the theatre.
Yeah, I mean, I got into it because of those reasons. Both my parents were not terribly present. I mean, I'm the classic, the kid that didn't get enough love and attention from his parents, goes out and tries to find that in
Look, it's all about me.
in you know in
Yeah.
you know,
No, I
entertainment.
know what you mean. So how did you do it?
so-
What pushed you to do it on your own?
I guess I did. I guess in my mind the thought that if I did this, it would solve my problems. You know, if I followed my father's footsteps, then I would be more in his eye line, and I'd get more of his love, and people would treat me more kindly, and I would be, you know, I would have the love that I need in life, and therefore it would solve my problems.
And did it happen?
To a degree, but then I kind of went, this is actually all nonsense. You know, I got a lot of attention very early on, and it kind of made me very uncomfortable, and I was a bit freaked out by it, and I thought, what's happening? You know, what? So it was a process of like learning who I was and what I was doing. I got through it, but I became very disillusioned too, actually, because you know when you get what you want and then it doesn't make you happy, you
wonder where
you
you
wonder
went
what's
wrong.
going on and where you went wrong. But actually, that needs to happen so that you can actually grow.
Yep.
So that, you know, it's been quite a journey. So now I'm at the point where I don't need to do it for the love.
Do you
and
pick
for
and
the-
choose now? Are you able to pick and choose the roles that you get now? And knock some
to a
back?
degree, yeah. Yeah,
So if you got
absolutely.
a role in, say, Neighbours,
Yep.
would you like a role like that, or would you say, look,
Oh.
I'd rather do something a little bit different?
Well, look, I did Home and Away for a couple of years, and only a couple of years ago, and I loved it because it's such a community. I mean,
work with a team,
It's
don't
a
you?
team of people.
and it would have been
and-
like East Street back in the 80s. wouldn't it?
Yeah, but also since I've gotten over the thing of I need to be famous or I need to be a star or I need to have attention, I'm sort of gotten over those things. I quite enjoy it, but it doesn't matter. I could sit in the room and rehearse a play and never go on and I would be fine, you know? Like, I like the work and I like relating to people and connecting to material and stuff, but I'm not doing it for the reasons that I used to do it. So I'm free. So to go into something like Home and Away, it's such a great community of people and the audience love it, and it's just, I felt like it was the best job in the
Well,
world.
you never know, because Home and Away is in its 30-somethingth year,
I know,
Neighbours
right?
as well.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you in either of those. It's also nice to have you back here in Perth promoting your brand new show, which started on Foxtel last week. If you missed episode 1 and 2, you can get it by demand on Foxtel. It is a showcase program. Fantastic having you on Foxtel. We saw the screening of the last two episodes, the first two
Yes.
episodes.
Yeah.
Tell me about Secret City. What's it all about, and how did you get involved?
Well, Secret City is a political thriller set in Canberra, and it's based on some novels written by some political journalists, Chris Ullman and Steve Lewis.
Which are very well known,
Very, very well known.
especially with the election. Chris Ullman, of course, one of the key moderators.
Yes, that's right. So it's very good source material. Those guys really do know what's going on. And because of their connections in Canberra, we were able to go into Canberra and shoot inside
you
Parliament
actually-
House.
That's what I wondered. Is it actually recorded in
It
Parliament
is
House?
Parliament House, and there are rooms and courtyards that we've filmed in that no one has ever been allowed to film in before. And that's because of the Chris and Steve, really, and their connections.
trusted
They're,
in
they're
Parliament,
trusted.
aren't
And even to the point we were trying to shoot outside of ASIO, out the front of the building, and the Federal Police turned up and said, "You can't shoot here. This is you can't." The producers called Chris Ullman. Chris Ullman called the head of ASIO. The head of ASIO called the police, and then we were allowed to shoot out the front of
Here's
ASIO.
a cup of tea
You know,
and biscuits
yeah.
as well.
So it was kind of like the doors
special,
did
isn't
open.
it?
It's very special. And
You probably saw a
current.
different side of politics as well. You're able to
Absolutely.
get things done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very interesting to look at within the show. There is Australia's relationship to both America and China. Now we have an ally in America, and we have a new trading partner in China.
Mm-hmm.
And America and China are opposed, and we are in the middle. And we have to balance that relationship and manage it. And how that plays out, or how that may play out, is in Secret City. And it's very, very interesting.
You've got an amazing cast. Tell us about, I know Jackie Weaver's one.
Jackie
of them.
Weaver, who's
Tell us about
extraordinary.
the other great cast members.
Oh, well, there's some. I mean, Dan Wiley is incredible, is he not?
Yes.
Damon.
As a comedian,
As
I'll
a-
tell you what.
Yeah.
Now, there's one guy there that I remember years ago, and I want you to tell me where he's from, because we were trying to work out the guy who plays the transvestite character. Damon.
Harriman,
Where did he
yeah.
start in television? Was he a young character in Country Practice, or am I wrong?
No, you're right. It's Country Practice.
There you go. I've got that right, director.
Yeah.
Because
Country Practice.
he's
He-
amazing in this.
Yeah. He started out as a child actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a child actor. And
He's
a lot
got
of
amazing-
child actors don't make it through, actually. You know, that once they mature, things change, and it's very, very difficult for them. But David, he's extraordinary.
He's one of the cast members that's incredibly amazing in this. You've got to watch it and see it for yourself. Your character is Andrew Griff, who's a political correspondent. What's it like being a journalist? Did you learn a lot about the real life of journalists?
Yeah, I have a couple of friends that are journos. So when I talked to them about it, that was my research really, just talking to my friends and going, so tell me really what it's like and what you go through. I was amazed to hear how competitive journalists are and how against each other they are working to get the story, that it's quite ruthless, and that in a way you kind of don't care even what the story is, just as long as you've got it. Kind of
Yes,
vibe.
and that comes out in the show.
And that comes out in the show, and it's, I thought, oh God, I sort of thought they might all be interested in the greater good. But
Jackie Weaver, Anna Torv. Amazing people. I've seen her in a couple of shows on the ABC. Amazing actress.
Amazing actor. Anna Torv. Now, in the books, her character is a 55-year-old
this
male.
is based on 2 books, isn't it?
2 books, yeah. In those books, her character is a 55-year-old male. So Penny Chapman, the producer, suggested that they change that to a 35-year-old female, and it's a very, very good choice, I think. Plays very, very well. Anna Torv is extraordinary in it.
Now, the director for this, I know that...
Emma Freeman.
Emma Freeman, fantastic director.
Yeah, if you've seen Glitch...
I have, and I loved it.
Okay, so
Incredible originality on Australian television, ABC, well done.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, so she directed all of Glitch, and she's directed all of this.
Great to work with.
Beautiful to work with. Very open, allows you input. And in fact, I said to her, Emma, what's happening? You're like, can I ask you about how you work? Because it's really free and really good vibe on this set. And she said, well, all I do is I choose people that are good at what they do, and I let them do their job. And if and so everyone is very kind of, it's a harmonious, creative environment.
I will say I loved watching the first 2 episodes. I know most of Australia would have loved watching them. This week, another episode. It's on Sunday nights at 6:30 here in Perth, 8:30 on Showcase, only on Foxtel. We have to add that in, only on Foxtel. Tell us, looking into camera one, briefly, why must people watch this and what will they get out of it? Because it's really a fantastic show.
Well, Secret City is current. It's about us here and now in this political environment that we are in that seems to be changing so much and so quickly that what the system is doing and how we relate to it and how it works is in question for many reasons and for good reasons, I think. So it's an important drama for lots of reasons, but it's also a great thriller. So I hope you enjoy it.
And West Australian Marcus Graham is in that as well. You're a wonderful actor, wonderful person to have on set.
Thank
Can
you.
I just ask you, just quickly, I know the director's saying, don't ask him another question, we're going over time, but I want to ask you, the Tony Abbott coup was happening while you guys were recording.
Yes.
How was that to be around?
Well, it was kind of amazing because in the morning, when it was announced as a coup, all the journos at 9 o'clock that morning said he doesn't have the numbers. There's no way he's going to keep his job. But the pollies weren't quite
They
sure.
weren't telling anybody.
And we had to wait until 11 o'clock that night till Mr. Turnbull got up and said, well, "Hello, it's me now." But the journos knew that morning at 9 o'clock. So, their feed on what is really happening is very strong and not to be denied. And I found that to be quite significant,
Amazing.
actually.
Where to from here for Marcus Graham? Have you got anything else in the
Yeah,
works?
well, as I was at the airport to come here, I just got a call from my agent about something.
It's not Neighbours, is it?
No, no.
Damn, they need a replacement for Paul Robinson?
I know, right? No, they're making a show about Alan Bond. So, and they just rang and said, "Oh, there's a role that they want you to do." I don't know whether I'm going to do it yet or not. They have to haggle, but being a Perth boy, I'm going to Perth and you get a call going, I met Alan Bond,
Yes,
and
so have I.
so we know him from those.
Amazing
we went
man.
through all of that. So, I thought it was quite kind of uncanny that.
Who better than a
that I-
West Australian to play West Australia?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be playing him, but I'd be.
Not Eileen, is it?
No.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is what you get, Eileen Bond. No. Do you know, can you give us a little bit of a sneak?
No, because we have to negotiate it and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I hope you do well.
But the script looks good.
Thank you very much. Well, Marcus Graham, you know what else looks good? Secret City on Foxtel, only on Foxtel, Sunday nights, 8:30 Australian Eastern Time. West Australia, 6:30. We get to see it 2 hours earlier, just because of the time difference. Thank you for coming in today.
Pleasure,
It's
Fred.
been a pleasure
Alfredo.
having you here. Thank you very much, Marqueso. And hopefully Eileen Bond, you never know, in the future. Catch Secret City on Foxtel. We'll take a break. Coming up, another secret. Our very own Steve Collins talks about a secret location in his travel segment right after this on The Couch. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.
Nice one, mate.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to The Couch here on Foxtel's Aurora channel. Now, before the break, opening the show, you would have seen Philip Wallystack and Angelo. We've got Philip Wallystack back to talk about his new music, his fantastic show, and his trip to Paris. Welcome back. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Fred.
It's always a pleasure to have you here because you're a wonderful, talented performer.
I thought I might have been in the wrong studio because you got a different colour shirt on this time.
Well, I'm sorry. I did actually want you to be in the other studio. I thought, well, since it's here, let's just go with it. And the music sounded good.
But didn't you have a blue one before?
No, you're confusing me with Tony.
No. Oh, Tony's the guy that's been sticking the things around everywhere.
Yes, he's been plugging you in, so to speak.
That's right, yeah.
Now, you've just come back from Paris. I want to talk about that one first. How did you manage to go over to Paris? What did you do to get there and why?
Got a plane ticket and jumped on the plane, and that's how we got there.
I didn't think you went and smuggled yourself through luggage.
No, another local artist here, my auntie Gina Williams, she did some work over there or throughout Europe and that over the past few years, and she made a contact with a French superstar. It turned out that he was actually a superstar over there. And he came over here and he wanted to collaborate with Auntie Gina, and then Auntie Gina told him about what I do, and so we made a documentary about the whole thing. So
wow.
I took him out to the bush and we, I suppose, hunted for a didgeridoo.
So how did they take the whole Indigenous person, because they probably would have met an Australian, an Indigenous Australian. How was that? Was that sort of harder for you or for him, like to try and make him understand we're just Australian?
It wasn't hard for either of us. It was a journey. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, that's a nice way to say it was hard.
Have you met an Indigenous Australian?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his family actually lives here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but we didn't realise how big he was. You know, we
just thought he was
arrived in Paris, we got off the plane, and there's a film crew standing there filming us getting off, you know, so suddenly
you must have stolen
doing your hair and
something
stuff
out of the plane. Or
And then everywhere we went, you know, you go to the Eiffel Tower and just people coming up to him and having photos and things like
and
this.
Did you make sure you were right beside him?
Well, he kept bringing us in on it all.
How good is that?
Yeah.
Now, you recorded something together with Gina, didn't you?
Yeah, we collaborated. The artist over there, his name is Francis Lalande. Francis Lalande. Yeah, and he's got a recording studio up in north of Paris, up in Normandy. So we spent the first few days in Paris. He took us around sightseeing. I got to drive one of them ferry things up the river.
Did
and
you
stuff.
really?
Well, because this is how famous he is. And
amazing, he's got power.
He said to the captain, he said, "This is my mate Phil from Australia, this and that." And he turned to me, he said, "Phil, my friend, you're driving the boat as soon as we get up." So I'm driving the boat past the Eiffel Tower.
Do you know,
and I'm actually driving. It was like we turned.
Did anything go wrong?
I nearly knocked down a few of them old heritage bridges and stuff.
Well, we don't really.
No one got injured.
No one injured. Well, I don't know if we're going to cut this, but that's okay. No insurance claims pending.
No. Well, I gave him a false email address.
Oh, that's good. Good. Fantastic. I'm glad if they're watching this, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Philip, you've got a fantastic show called Walk With Me.
Well, I'm telling everybody it's fantastic, Fred.
It is fantastic, because I know the last show I watched with you and the Mirandas, you were fantastic. You're always fantastic. I'm really proud to call you Australian because you've been on our show a few times. You're an amazing musician, a lot of energy in your music and a lot of passion.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more, or have I pretty much said it in 2 words? It is passion and your love for music.
You pretty much said it all. We'll be back after this commercial break.
What can we expect to see?
No, well, this one is it's a very special one. Obviously, Walk With Me is the song that I sang earlier.
It's beautiful.
And it's a new single of mine coming out. And the date is July 7th at the Astor Theatre. And I'm bringing in some special guests. So we've got Stephen Pigram from the Pigram Brothers.
Beautiful.
Dr. Richard Wally.
Yep.
My godfather. And my uncle, so I never know what to call him. Uncle Doctor?
Dr. Uncle.
Dunkle.
The man from Uncle.
Yeah.
Donkle.
Dunkle,
that
there we go.
good.
Bradley Hall. Bradley's his voice is amazing, country western singer. And the Mirandas as well. So we've got a bit of everything. And July 7th, it's a Thursday of NAIDOC week, which is this
really
year.
a big week for you guys and for us too here. Everyone in Australia should celebrate a NAIDOC week.
Yeah, well, we get to showcase our culture and that. And Walk With Me, I think the title says it all, is, take a walk in our shoes. Yeah. And we're not saying, you did this, you did that, or whatever. It's just come along with us. take a walk.
Fantastic.
We'll take you through our life.
Let's
Enjoy.
refresh. It's going to be at the Astor Theatre, folks. It's going to be on July the 7th. It's a Thursday night. You can get your tickets from going to astortheatreperth.com. That's astortheatreperth.com. It's on screen right now. Or you can go to Wally Stack's, it is, of course, wallystack.com. Pretty easy. That's your website as well. And there is the poster there, which you'll see. It looks a bit like this one here. And we're looking forward to some new hits, some of your classic stuff.
This one also, it's been broadcast live around Australia.
Really?
Yeah, so through the Noongar Radio 100.9 FM.
Which I used to be
where
part of.
I'm on the board of directors. At
Oh,
the
really? I
moment.
must come back.
And I host a show Wednesday nights, so make sure you tune in.
That's 100.9 FM, and I always used to get into trouble because they used to say Noongar, and they used to say, no, you have to say Noongar. You have to emphasise the A, they said. So they said, stop saying, just say 100.9 FM.
There
So
you
thank
go.
you very much.
Yeah.
It is always a pleasure to have you in the studio. We look forward to seeing this fantastic show. Walk With Me.
Yep.
He's a talent. He's an Australian. He's a wonderful West Australian. We're very proud of him. Philip Wally Stack, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Fred.
Thanks for being here, and thanks to
worries.
Angelo, who performed with you as well. He's a great man as well.
Yeah, he's parking the car.
Good on you. Let's talk about something. Parking the car. Where are my keys gone? Can I just say we've got a fantastic event as well, raising money for men's depression. Is of course Barbara McNaught's Momentum. They have got a wonderful event called Men in Black. If you want to be part of it, I'm giving away 2 tickets to the event. Check out the promo first.
The Men in Black Ball is back. Your mission is to come and join us at the Men in Black Ball and support men's mental health through Momentum for Australia charity. Celebrate the Momentum Most Inspiring Man of the Year award. Dance, dinner, live entertainment, and fabulous prizes. Men in Black Ball, Pan Pacific Hotel, Perth. Visit MomentumForumEvents.com.au to be part of this special event.
It's going to be fantastic. If you'd like to come along and join me there and be at my table, all I'd like you to do is send the code word. The code word is, of course, MEN. It's on screen right now. The code word is MEN, M-E-N, to go with Men in Black. Put your name and your address on that SMS. You need your name and address, the word MEN, and I will pick someone this week because it's pretty important. It's coming up very, very soon. The phone number to SMS it to is 0439 929 929. That's 0439 929 929, and I will invite you to come along. If I pick you, you'll be coming with a friend or a partner, anybody you like, to enjoy a fantastic night, Men in Black Ball, coming up very, very soon. And please, there's still tables available, there's still seats available. Please support them. They do a wonderful job for men's depression and more. Okay, now somebody else that does a wonderful job for my depression, because I'm always laughing when he's around. Steve Collins, welcome back.
Thanks very much, Fred.
Oh, people are going to say, you guys have taken over the whole world.
Yes.
It's Steve and Fred to Singapore. We've gone to ferry rides, we've
Yeah.
gone to dinners, we've gone to TV shows.
We have.
What could we possibly do next?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to go and search for Philip's luggage. I think that'll be my next
I
quest.
heard, yes, Philip's luggage is over in Switzerland, I
It
believe.
is somewhere like that, yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to history, actually, a bit of history and Israel, and it's about the Battle of Beersheba. Now, next year is the centenary of the Battle of Beersheba, and very, very few Australians know about it. Beersheba is in Israel. Well, what's called Israel today. Back in the First World War, it was part of Palestine, and this battle is one of the greatest feats that Australians were ever involved in, and yet we know nothing about it. Basically, what it was held by the Ottoman Empire, which is Turkey. And so, and it was part of, there's in a line between Gaza, which was on the coast, and then Beersheba.
there's some photos there.
Yeah, these are the Australian light horse. They were involved in it. And that was, they're the Turks in their trenches.
Why did they call it the light horse? Because I imagine a horse falling on you would be quite heavy.
Well, the idea wasn't for the horse to fall on you. These horses, these are great horses. They're whalers, and they're a nuggety Australian horse, which is ideal
Amazing
for. That's that there is a statue celebrating the light horsemen and the Battle of Beersheba. But it was important because Beersheba had all this water. There's not a lot of water there, and there were 7 wells there, and it was very, very well protected by the Turks. But only the western side of it was. Because the eastern side was all desert, and they said, well, nobody's going to attack us from the desert because there's no water. So the Australians figured out, well, hold on, there used to be settlements there, so if there were settlements there must have been water. So they went out on an expedition, so the Turks couldn't see them, and they found this little 8 ancient town, and so they started looking for water, and they dug around and they found water. It took them 2 days to dig to find the water so that they could water themselves and their horses, which was even more important. And then they planned this attack, and this attack was absolutely fantastic because it started late on the afternoon of the 31st of October. And they rode very, very fast for 3,000 yards, which is what, about 3 Ks or something. And they were riding very, very fast. The Turks weren't expecting it, and when they turned around, all they could see was this dust willied up. And they, what's that? And of course, in those days, the technology wasn't as good, and so they had the Turks had these huge guns and machine guns, but they had to keep on readjusting them to get the aim. And the Australians were coming so fast at them that they couldn't readjust their weapons, and they eventually got there to where the Turkish trenches were, and the horses just leapt over the trenches. Half of the infantrymen, they dismounted and they got their bayonets on their rifles, and they fought to the Turks, and the other half went into the town of Beersheba, and very, very narrow streets. They can only ride 1 or 2 horses in a line down the street. And by overcoming this, not many people died. I think they killed about 70 Turks all up, but there are over 1,000 there, and the rest, the rest surrendered. That was the first Allied battle, first Allied win of World War I. It occurred in October 31st, 1917. And it was just amazing.
And they're celebrating this next year?
They're commemorating. You never celebrate war.
You never celebrate war.
They're commemorating the next war in Israel. And of course, Israel is a really interesting place to visit anyway. It's a miniature country really compared to Australia. You can ride over it in about an hour and a half or something from one side to the other, but there's so much history there, and of course it is so important. I was watching a thing on SBS this week. Ernie Dingo was there, and Ian Thorpe. And it turns out that just about all of humanity that left Africa came through Israel, and there were and that's where the modern humans mated with Neanderthals. You know, each of us have got about 2% Neanderthals, so it's always been there. But when you go to Israel now, of course, there's Jerusalem, which is the holiest city in the world. It's very, very important to all the Abrahamic religions. You've got, of course, the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. It's very, very important. So you go to Jerusalem, and it's a magnificent city, very, very historic. And the other thing is, after the Battle of Beersheba, it was the Australians. Yeah, this is part of Jerusalem. It was the Australians that first got fresh water into Jerusalem for the first time in its whole history. It's just an amazing city. There are other parts of Israel as well that you need to go and see. There's places like, this is Caesarea. Now, Caesarea was given to King Herod. You've heard of King Herod.
I have.
But he got a bit bad publicity. But they gave it to him because it was a port, and then he built the city. This is Masada. This was also King Herod. He built this magnificent city on top of this Masada. Tel Aviv. Now, you wouldn't believe that you can go surfing in Israel, but Tel Aviv's got a 14k beach, and it's a party city. There's cafes.
Do you know what's funny? Most Australians like me watching this now and saying, is it safe? And that's my thing. I love looking at those photos, but you're going to tell me there are wonderful places that we can visit then, and it is safe.
Well, it's basically safe. I mean, yes, they do have there are some scuffles every now and then, but it's not aimed at tourists, and I don't think there's any case of tourists. Oh, just beautiful.
Have you been?
You go to the Dead Sea. My son's going in August, and I've been helping him to plan it. You go to the Dead Sea. It's the lowest place on Earth, 438 metres below sea level. And the water there, it's very, very saline. It's 8.6 times saltier. There you are, that's in the Dead Sea, saltier than normal seawater. You cannot drown in it because of all the salt. You just float on it. And there's all this mud around as well. Once again, King Herod, he built the world's first spa town there on the shores of the Dead Sea. And it's called the Dead Sea because life just can't thrive there. But it's a great. But there is a tour next year to commemorate the centenary of the Battle of Beersheba. They're going to recreate it with people in the traditional,
traditional uniforms.
Australian light infantry uniforms, etc. And so people can go there. It's been organised by the Israel Travel
I was
Centre.
going to ask you, how can we get more information?
Yeah,
if we wanna
well,
go?
Israel Travel Centre. You can email them sales@israeltravelcentre.com.au. I think there's going to be a number of tours go there. I went last week. I went to a talk by a guy called Iran Tirosh, who is an Israeli military historian who specialises in World War I around that area. And it was fascinating, and it was so great to hear about the Australians and what they did there. It was just fantastic.
It's another one of those places like South Africa for me that I've been very scared to go there, but I'd love to go there. So it might be an opportunity where people should get more information.
Well, yeah, Johannesburg, they don't recommend that you get out and about yourself. Nobody says don't go and have a look at Jerusalem or Tel Aviv or any of these places.
It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Because I have to say the Israeli security forces, they're pretty good. They're probably the best in the world.
Well, go and have a look if that's the last thing on your bucket list. Leave it as the last thing. Fantastic.
Great
Steve, where are you going to next time?
I don't know. I'm probably Myanmar, I think.
Myanmar?
Yeah,
You're
or
taking your mum
Burma.
with you?
A lot of people know it.
Myanmar?
Me and Mum, me and Dad.
Myanmar. Where is that? Burma?
Burma, yes. Yeah,
wonderful.
we call it Burma, they call it Myanmar, but apparently Myanmar is the Burmese name for Burma, so I don't know.
Always a mountain of information. RadioRoaming.com if you want to catch his podcast. He's also on 6PR Radio and here on the couch. We'll be back with Steve. He'll come back after the break because he's going to be doing a little bit something cheesy. Stick around for that. Thank you to Steve. Thank you to Philip Wally Stack right beside me. We'll be back with more of the couch right after this, only on Foxtel. Welcome back to the couch here on Aurora Television Foxtel. Coming up in November, we have got an amazing first time ever being held in WA. It's called the Festival Fromage. It's all about fantastic cheeses, different types of cheeses, things you can do with cheeses. You can buy big, small, cottage cheese, goat's cheese, and I'm sure many more things. To talk about that and more, we've got our very own Steve Collins talking to our guests.
Thanks, Fred. And I've got Denisha Quinlan and Michael Taylor here, and they are from the Festival Fromage, which means that it's going to be a lot of cheese coming up, and that's in November, isn't it, Denisha?
That's right. So we've got a full weekend of activities from the 11th to the 13th of November at the Perth Town Hall and in the associated buildings around the city. It's going to be a great event in which cheese becomes the absolute hero for us.
What encouraged you to have a festival fromage, a cheese festival? Because I know that, Michael, you are not only are you a cheese maker, but you're also involved in dairy and beer, aren't you?
Absolutely. I've had a long history of making cheese and making beer, and that was reason enough, I thought. But what we wanted to bring is something really high-end, the best cheeses in WA, the best cheeses in the world, so that people get a taste of more than just cheddar cheese, which is really what most people usually just eat.
Yeah, but I guess we talked about artisan cheesemakers, aren't we? And there are quite a few in WA and certainly over east now. So what is an artisan cheesemaker? What makes them different from, say, the big dairies?
Well, the big dairies produce bulk cheese with a very approachable style that everybody enjoys. It doesn't challenge the palate too much. Artisan cheesemakers take a lot more time. They put love, passion in, and they use some unusual and more difficult techniques to make the cheese, so it can be far more complex. Can be more challenging on the plate and on the nose. Some of them have quite distinct aromas. Yeah, there's one in there, Roquefort.
It's very tangy.
Absolutely. And these guys are usually really small volume producers, but they produce really complex, beautiful cheeses that the large manufacturers just can't.
I'll ask you about some of these cheeses. I know one of them because I've been down there, and there's a sheep cheese there from Cambrai down near Nannup. Can you tell me about that cheese and also these others that we've got here, because some of them are international, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Well, the Cambrai cheese is fantastic. It's unpasteurised cheese, which is relatively new in Australia. It's a sheep cheese, and it's a true farmhouse. So when we talk about artisanal, this is it. So They manage the sheep, they manage the milking, they manage the manufacture and the ageing as well. So everything is done there, and it's done with passion and love, and that's an absolutely beautiful cheese. It's got a bit of sweetness and a bit of nuttiness to it. It's really
And
nice.
what about this one here? Is that?
That's Comté. That's French cheese. It's aged 18 months, that one. So that's usually priced according to age, funnily enough, which doesn't really make sense, because if it's bad cheese at the start, it's still going to be bad cheese in 18 months. That's a particularly good one.
Oh, there's no bad cheese on this plate.
No,
is there?
We chose them specifically.
Now you've got an orange one here, which looks like a camembert or a brie. What's the difference between camembert and brie for a starter?
Well, traditionally it's just wheel size. Like
Right.
Back 200 years ago, that's all the only difference.
One's a penny farthing and one's a tricycle, is that right?
That's pretty much. One's 3 kilos, one's 250 grams. So, but now it's a bit different. They put cream into brie, and
That's the.
but that one over there,
Yeah.
that orange rind, is a real danger sign to the aroma of it. It smells lovely. To me, not to a lot of people. That's really strong. And the way that one's made is that's a washed rind, so they wash it in brine and cognac.
Cognac. Right, that'll be the one I have later.
And one of the most interesting things, I think, when we talk through those cheeses on the platter is part of the experience we want to bring to people.
Yeah.
Cheese making is an incredibly complex business, even in terms of how it arrives on our shores, the process that goes into it. We've had some amazing forefathers really start introducing new cheeses into Australia, and I think very few people really understand that complexity and the sorts of information that Mick's been talking about, so that's part of what we want to share. And that Roquefort has a really interesting story, doesn't it?
Yeah. In two ways. It was the first unpasteurised milk cheese to be imported into Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a guy by the name of Will Studd, who you
Who's
may
had
know
his
from
cheese
Cheese
slices
Slices.
on TV.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he fought really hard about 8 years ago to be able to bring that in, because food safety in Australia didn't allow unpasteurised milk products.
Let's talk more about the festival now, because it's on over the weekend, 11th to 13th of November. And how's it going to work? People go there for a particular session, do they? You're going to have several sessions throughout the weekend, is that right?
So yeah, because within the town hall we are quite restricted on numbers, and we wanted to give people the opportunity to really meet with the artisans and to talk through some of the information we're talking about, but also some of the amazing wholesalers, Simon Johnson, for example, that have helped us today with some of that, those beautiful cheeses. Their knowledge of the industry is so strong. So to enable people to have those conversations, we've broken it into morning, afternoon over the Saturday and Sunday. Plus we'll have a number of degustations, and then we'll also have some of the talks. But the experience for people will really be about grabbing a bottle of wine, buying some cheese, having a sort of taste of everything, pulling it together.
With the cost of the ticket, that allows you to have a taste of all the cheeses,
Absolutely.
and then you can purchase wine or whatever. And I believe might be having a picnic out.
Yeah,
on
that's
the
our
lawn.
intention, is just to allow people, the whole thing is about starting conversations and having that experience.
Yes.
So enabling people to have the conversations within the hall, take their beautiful things that they've experienced, sit out onto the lawn and just have a really lovely time.
And November's a very nice time of year for sitting out on lawn and having a bit of a cheese picnic, isn't it? The dinners that you're having with the artisan
Degustations,
cheese, the
yeah.
degustation dinners, that means that you'll be matching drinks with cheeses, doesn't it?
That's right. So we're hoping to have a beer one, a bubbles one, maybe some spirits, and just break it up a little bit, match the beautiful cheeses, and some of the various, wholesalers and cheesemakers will own those sessions, and really enable us to try cheese in a way that probably you've never had or experienced, because cheese is actually the hero.
And cheese is a hero, and I can tell you what, I'm salivating right now. So what I'm going to do is, how do people get tickets? What's your website? How much do the tickets cost? And how do people purchase them?
So we'll be releasing tickets on the 1st of September, so please log on to www.festivalfromage.com.au. There's a holding page on there at the moment which will allow you to register for a pre-release of those tickets, and then they'll be available through there. So roughly around $25 entry. The degustations will obviously be a bit more, and a variety of costs for the various cheese making workshops and other activities.
Well, I suggest that I'm famished. I suggest we get stuck into these now. So Fred, back to you.
And I would suggest you don't touch that cheese, Steve, until I get over there. We need to take a very quick break because I've got to go need some cheese. We'll see you on the other side of this, talking to Kez, artist, author, and we'll tell you how you can win 2 airfares thanks to Scoot to Singapore. See you on the other side of the break. Too late for the cheese. Steve took it all with him as he left the studio, but that's okay. Hopefully he won't choke on it too much. But that's okay. Someone that will never choke on cheese, because we didn't get to try it, is myself and our next guest, Kez Wickham St George. Welcome to the couch. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, you're a local West Australian from Rockingham.
I am.
Which is awesome. Awesome place. Part of town to be living. About 45 minutes out of Perth.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your background, because I know you come from New Zealand.
I do.
And you used to be a school teacher.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more.
Okay, I taught tourism in New Zealand. Husband was offered a job here up in the mines in Pilbara. We took the opportunity and never looked back. It's been absolutely wonderful for me.
How long have you been in Perth?
In Perth, 15 years.
Now, all your life here in Perth, have you always been an author or an artist?
In Perth, yes.
You have. Now, tell me a little bit about your book writing, because you've gone from travel to incredibly different topic of paranormal. How did that happen?
My publisher encouraged me. She said, you're always putting little ghost stories into your travel, and I always seem to end up in haunted hotels, having experiences I didn't really want. So, yeah, I started writing paranormal.
So you're a little bit of a clairvoyant?
No.
You're not? So you don't have any clairvoyancy skills?
No.
So you won't be able to tell them if I'm going to win the lotto or...
No, I'd come
travel?
first.
Okay, well, I like that sort of... That's pretty much a clairvoyant, actually. That's what they say. But tell me, you went from travel.
Yes.
How long ago did you go to paranormal? Because this is your first paranormal book.
This is the first full paranormal book I've ever written. It wasn't a very hard journey. It was just...
by the way. It's called Scorcha.
Sorcha.
Without the C.
Yeah.
Sorcha. What does that mean?
Sorcha is an 18th century name of a young woman. I believe it's not very popular these days, but it's coming back into it.
Okay, so what does it mean?
Sorcha is the name of a young woman in the 18th century.
Oh, so actually like Mary Jane
Yes.
Sorcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sort of see why it wouldn't be that popular these days. It's not trendy enough, I think.
No.
So tell me a little bit about the book, the story behind the book. What's it about?
Sorcha comes to me in the story through a guide I have in the spirit world called Tanby.
Mm-hmm.
Tanby brings her to me. She needs to tell her story, and she died before she could tell her story. And she's a herbalist in the 18th century who discovered how to help a woman through a breech birth, and that was through using the fats of animals. Because she used this method, she was sourced by the royals, I should say, and because of her disformity, she was a hunchback, and she wasn't all that attractive.
So she's a hunchback and she's called Sorcha.
Yeah.
You've really punished this poor woman, and she was back in the 18th century. What gave you the inspiration? I mean, did you just go, this is what I want to write about, or did something inspire you?
I've always been inspired by herbalism and how people use oils, herbs.
The natural remedies.
Yeah, I've always been interested in that. Never really gone into it, but always fascinated me how people can take this and that and get better really soon.
So how do you take a story based in the 18th century with a lady called Sorcha, who obviously didn't have a great life and used to never eat meat or those nice things that some people like, and was all into herbs and natural remedies? How do you make that entertaining? Is it an entertaining read? Is it exciting?
I would call it entertaining. It really is based on her... It's almost like a horror story, what happened to her. In the end, there's a good chapter on her, and then it goes back into my travels.
So basically it's an amazing journey of this lady based in the 1800s. Now, is there a lot of mystery, a lot of love, a lot of romance, that type of thing?
A little bit of romance, a little bit of sex. You have to have that in every book.
A little bit of sex? I'll write it down, Sorcha. So if you look at camera 3 and tell people why they need to, because you put a lot of effort into writing this book.
I did.
And I know that you fund the books that you do through your fantastic painting, which we'll show in a minute. But tell the people why they need to get this book and what is it going to do for them?
Well, first of all, if you buy Sorcha, you'll be amazed at what you can learn. I also put in it that I wrote about a recent cruise I did, and the people I came across on the cruise, which aren't human.
Funny enough, I went on a cruise just a few weeks ago. They weren't very human either. That was only here in Perth. But that's okay. Maybe we can write together next time. Carry on, please, Kez.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to say? Or have I ruined your train of thought?
No, you haven't ruined the train of thought.
Okay.
It's just there's a word that I wanted to use and it's thoroughly escaped me.
Is it a rude word?
No.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you were referring to me again. Look, Kez, it's a wonderful thing. Let's talk about your art, because you've
Sure.
been an artist as well for a while.
I have.
Tell me about this art piece here and about your general art.
Okay, the art that's being displayed now was, I was trying to honour my father-in-law, who was a backyard astronomist. He built everything himself. When I was in my 30s, he took me inside this little building he'd built and he showed me the universe. I'd never seen it before. He explained everything to me. And he showed me a certain part of the sky which is called the Box of Jewels. And so remembering that and remembering what a wonderful man he was, I put an exhibition on, and always doing abstract, I used the flow method, and this is how it turned out.
Fantastic. Now, we are going to give away this book. Not this book. We will give away some books when we get them, but they're still being printed, so they're not available. But this art piece is amazing. She's done it herself, Kez. We're going to give this away as a consolation on Spin It to win it. So I'll tell you more on how you can have the chance of winning this wonderful painting. And it's signed, and you've obviously put a lot of passion and love into this art piece.
Always.
Are you sure you want to give it away?
I do.
Okay. Well, give us your website, because I know people are going to say, I like the idea of 1800s Sorcha, a little bit of sex in it, travel plus a little bit of fun. Look at camera 3 and tell us the website.
KezWickhamStGeorge.com.
Again?
KezWickhamStGeorge.com.
You got it right. Thank you very much. You are wonderful. Now, can you tell me where we can get the book when it does come out?
I will personally deliver 3 of them to you.
No, where can the public get it from?
They'll be sold off my website, and they'll be in the public libraries.
Fantastic. Do we know the cost yet or not yet?
They'll be around about $20 a copy.
Perfect book, maybe for Mother's Day, Father's Day, any sort of day, and Christmas coming up as well. Kez, thank you very much for coming in today. It's always nice to have local West Australians as part of the show, and we love to support local people. So if you'd like to support Kez, please do go to her website. We gave it to you earlier on. It's got all the details there. You can catch, or you can go to our website, and we'll have all the details of Kez there as well. And we will, I was saying before, we're going to give this away. Now I'll tell you how we do it. Thanks to Scoot, we're giving 2 people, if they're together, they need to go together, but 2 return tickets to Singapore, thanks to Scoot. The code word is Scoot. What else would it be? Scoot, S-C-O-O-T in capitals, because we really love Scoot. The SMS number's 0439 929 929, 0439 929 929. We need your name and your address. Now, a lot of people send SMSs from the crew and they don't put their names. But then I say, what's your name? So do I have to tell it to? Yes, you do, because if you don't tell me your name, how am I going to know what to put on the tickets? And if you're one of our crew members, then you won't be winning. But thank you very much. Now, we're going to give away the painting, but can I just quickly, as I bend over here, I'm going to tell you that this is another great prize you'll win. It's called My Buddies. The eyes are being blocked off there. mybuddies.com.au if you want to get one. It's the word buddies.com.au. They're normally $69, nearly $70. But if you're a couch viewer, you'll get it for $49. It is amazing. It's got a pouch on the back, and on the back you've got a blanket in there. You can put your laptop, whatever you want in there, it fits in there, and it's great for kids, and it's also a backpack, which makes it wonderful. We're going to give away one of those. So please send in your SMSs anywhere in Australia. Scoot will fly you anywhere in Australia. And if you haven't won a ticket off us, please check out flyscoot.com. flyscoot.com. Great prizes, and I'm going to Singapore very soon. I'll tell you more about that one as well. Thank you very much for watching the show today. We are in incredible hurry. That's why I'm flustering. We've got a wonderful young lady. Her name is Ellie Shewan. She's got a beautiful new song called Hard Heart. This is the first place you'll see it on TV. Here she is, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, Australia.
Said you were a hero. You said you were my fan. You said you were a fighter. You said, trust me, I have a plan, but you let it all go. You let you let me go. those years of chasing is lost. All of those fears have come at a cost. So I let you go. So I let it all go. You have hardened this heart. You have fallen into parts. So I let you go. So I let it all go. And I believe your face has changed shape, and it's not too late for you to save it. But I have to let you go. Either way, or I have to let you go. Either way, don't worry, baby, I'm doing fine. Don't worry, honey, I'm glad that you're not mine. Don't worry, baby, I'm doing fine. Don't worry, baby, I'm glad that you're not mine. Oh, I'm glad that you're not mine.